You don't just shut your eyes and drift away. Something deeper happens when the body surrenders. Your consciousness detaches and begins its journey. Most people never notice because they've been trained to forget. But every night, you return to places your soul knows better than your name. That's why spiritual traditions taught rituals before bed. Not superstition. Strategy. Align your breath. Silence your mind. Hold a clear intention. You're not escaping the day. You're preparing for a journey into the invisible. You don't fall asleep. You return. This isn't about dream interpretation. This is about full spiritual awakening. You're going to learn how to access the quantum field during sleep, how to decode your soul's messages, and how to turn every night into a ritual of healing, guidance, and power. By the end of this video, you'll no longer wake up confused. You'll remember. You'll know where you went and why you went there. Subscribe now if you're ready to stop sleeping and start traveling. What if sleep isn't just rest, but initiation? Every night your body shuts down while your awareness slips into the unknown. This pattern mirrors the transition we call death, down to the slowing of breath, the detachment, the fading of form. Yet we treat sleep lightly and fear death deeply. But they are mirrors, not opposites. The ancients knew this. In Egypt, sleep was called a doorway to the Duat, the underworld of truth. In Tibet, dream yoga was a preparation for the Bardo, the realm after death. Both saw sleep as practice, as rehearsal, as training. You're not waiting for death to learn how to leave. You're already practicing. The body stills, the senses fade, the ego quiets, the soul begins to float. This is not poetry. It's process. It's why the same patterns appear. The tunnel, the light, the sense of weightlessness. You've experienced these before. Because you've crossed before and come back. Now here's what no one tells you. If you fear death, you will fear sleep. And that fear creates turbulence in your departure. But if you approach sleep with reverence, intention, surrender, you train yourself to walk between worlds with grace. You become lucid where others stay lost. Pause and feel this. Every night you practice letting go of control, of identity, of gravity. What would happen if you did it consciously? What would change if you welcomed the descent instead of resisting it? Lucidity in sleep becomes sovereignty in death. This is the kind of truth they never taught you. Comment below. What's the dream that made you question everything? Why is it so hard to remember our dreams? Why do we wake with a glimpse and then lose it within minutes? That's not accidental. That's conditioning. You were trained to forget. Because remembering would give you access to something they can't control. Your own consciousness. As a child you remembered vivid dreams, invisible friends, past life memories. But slowly, the fog rolled in. You were told it was just your imagination. The school system ignored your visions. The culture mocked your knowing. And you began to doubt what was once crystal clear. But dreams aren't weak echoes. They are data, encoded messages from the soul, bypassing the logic of the waking mind. Lions, staircases, flooded rooms, they aren't random. They're keys. Your subconscious doesn't forget. It gets overwritten. Here's where most people get it wrong. They think forgetting is natural. It's not. It's engineered. The food, the screens, the noise, the fluorescent lights, all of it dulls the bridge between worlds. Forgetting isn't passive. It's a system of disconnection. And remembering is rebellion. What if you began reversing it? What if you wrote down the fragments, traced the patterns, honored the symbols? You'd remember more, then more. Until the dream became a second life, a school, a mirror, a map. The moment you remember, the programming cracks. You've felt this too, haven't you? If so, share this video with someone who's ready to remember. Long before science measured sleep cycles, the ancients already walked the dream world with precision. They didn't call them dreams. They called them gateways, tools, initiations. In Egypt, the dream was an entrance to the Duat. In Tibet, it was a training ground for the soul. You are rediscovering what was once sacred. These cultures weren't guessing. They mapped it, Hieroglyphs described astral travel. Monks practiced conscious dreaming. Atlantean texts spoke of lucid memory corridors. None of this was metaphor, it was method. They treated the dream world as real because it is. In mystery schools, initiates were taught to navigate between worlds, not for entertainment, but for transformation, to meet guides, to heal karmic wounds, to remember. The dream wasn't escape, it was integration. They knew that sleep is where you remember what you were made to forget. Modern systems call this superstition. But the joke's on them. Because governments still study it, quietly. Remote viewing, astral surveillance, pineal activation. Declassified documents reveal what mystics always said. Consciousness is not local. It travels. It sees. It remembers. And what's more, those ancient teachings never left. They were buried, coded, hidden in symbols, temples, scrolls, chants, but not destroyed. Because truth can't be erased, only disguised. The veil wasn't created by time. It was created by fear. By the way, if this is blowing your mind, check the card right now. Synchronicities that will blow your mind. No BS. When your eyes close and breath slows, it looks like everything stops. But that's only from the outside. Inside, something extraordinary begins. Your body surrenders to gravity, but your soul defies it. You are not the sleeper. You are the traveler. The physical body is just the anchor. A sacred vessel, yes, but limited. Your soul doesn't need feet to walk or lungs to breathe. In the dream state, it glides, it listens, it remembers. You've likely felt it. A floating moment, a sudden shift, the sense that you left. Because you did. Science calls it hypnagogia, but mystics call it the threshold. That moment where your neurofrequency drops and the soul slips through the veil. It's delicate, it's real, and if you're aware, you can follow it. You don't need death to explore the beyond. You only need stillness. So why don't we talk about this? Because no one profits when you remember that you're infinite. No one benefits from you knowing that you're multidimensional. So you're told, it's just a dream, a glitch, a fantasy. But the glitch is this world, not the one you visit at night. What happens when you realize your soul has been moving every night? Untrained, unprotected, unacknowledged. You begin to take the journey seriously. You begin to lead it, not just ride it. When the body sleeps, the soul negotiates its next chapter. If you've ever felt that silent lift, above your bed, out of your body, drop a comment. You're not alone in this. You think astral projection is rare, reserved for monks or mystics, but guess what? You've already done it. Many times. That jolt right before sleep, that sudden sensation of floating, that dream that felt too real, those were signs. The exit already happened. You just weren't watching. Most people imagine astral travel as dramatic, a full liftoff, visions, cosmic music. But in truth, it's subtle. The shift feels like a whisper, not a thunderclap. Awareness slips out between thoughts. And unless you've trained your mind to notice, it slips past you. You're a soul that's already flying. Here's where most people get it wrong. They expect fireworks, but the real signal is presence. The stillness where your body fades and something else awakens. Your consciousness begins to see without eyes, move without muscles, feel without filters. Lucidity begins with noticing. Think about those dreams that left your heart racing. The ones where you flew, fell, or turned around and saw yourself sleeping. That wasn't just REM activity. That was contact with yourself, with memory, with dimensions beyond your name. You're not imagining, you're remembering, and the more you choose to be aware, the more access you get. Astral projection isn't about effort, it's about receptivity. Alignment between brain plus heart. Intention tuned to the quantum field. Presence at the edge of form. The moment you stop forcing, you start exiting. Oh, and if this connected with you, don't miss the next one. Synchronicities that will blow your mind. No BS. Tap the card above. Why don't they teach dream control in schools? Why is lucid dreaming labeled as entertainment instead of empowerment? Because a lucid soul is a free soul, and freedom terrifies the system. If you knew what you could do in the dream world, this world would lose its grip. You can't control someone who's already awake. Sleep is the last frontier they haven't fully conquered, but they try. Blue light, chemicals, noise, education that mocks intuition. The goal? Distraction. Because if you remembered what you are while dreaming, the whole illusion would fall apart. Awareness is dangerous to those who sell amnesia. You see, dreams aren't passive. They're programmable. The media knows this. That's why your subconscious is bombarded before bed. Ads, fear, confusion. They seed your field with garbage. So when your soul exits, it travels through distortion. They don't block the gate. They blind the traveler. But here's the secret they've hidden. You can take it back. You can choose intention over inertia. You can place symbols near your bed. Speak a mantra. Hold coherence. When you dream with purpose, you step beyond manipulation. The observer creates reality, even while asleep. Think about it. If every human mastered their dream state, the systems of fear would collapse overnight. There'd be no need for control, because you'd remember the truth. That you are not your job, not your story, not your fear. You are awareness, sovereign, ungovernable, lucid. If this cracked something open inside you, share this video. Someone out there is ready to wake up with you. We treat sleep like shutdown, like a break from life. But what if sleep is the most important ceremony you enter each day? The ancients didn't just go to bed. They prepared, cleaned their space, set intentions, whispered to the unseen. They knew they were crossing into something holy. Your body may lie down, but your soul stands at the gate. The question is, are you entering by accident or design? Most people collapse into unconsciousness, but the few who align, those are the ones who remember. Presence turns sleep into a portal, not just a pause. Start small. Light a candle. Breathe slowly. Speak clearly. Tonight, I will remember. These aren't habits, they're codes. When done consistently, they signal the soul to awaken in the dream. You don't need more hours of sleep, you need more sacredness inside it. What's more, sound changes everything. Ancient chants, crystal tones, mantras. These vibrational tools align your energy with the field. You're not just drifting, you're tuning. Emotion is the raw material of expansion, and it sets the course of your journey. The system taught you to scroll until your eyes close, to exhaust yourself until surrender. But that's not rest, that's avoidance. Preparing for sleep is a declaration. I choose awareness. And with that choice, the veil begins to thin. Ritual builds resonance. Resonance rewires destiny. You don't have to be perfect, just present. Send this to someone who deserves to rest like a soul, not a machine. Dreams aren't just thoughts gone wild. They're navigation maps through the quantum field. Each night you enter a frequency beyond time, beyond logic. And there, your soul does its real work. Healing, remembering, choosing. This is not sleep. This is sacred recalibration. Think of a dream where you met someone who felt ancient, or a place that wrapped around you like a memory. That wasn't fantasy. That was resonance. The field responds to your frequency and pulls you where healing is needed. Emotion becomes direction. Intention becomes architecture. Here's where most people get it wrong. They think dreams are storytelling. But the soul doesn't speak in stories, it speaks in symbols. You're not decoding fantasy, you're receiving downloads from guides, ancestors, and even future versions of yourself. Sleep becomes the inbox of the spirit. Some nights, you may revisit wounds, relive choices, encounter people who mirror your shadow. That's not punishment. It's alignment. The quantum field mirrors your subconscious so you can see what's hidden and heal what's fragmented. This is inner alchemy in motion. Other times, you'll receive visions, messages, chills that follow you into the morning. Don't dismiss them. Write them. Track them. They're not random. They're coordinates from your higher self. In the dream world, every sign is a conversation waiting to be heard. If this activated something, comment below. What message have you received in a dream that never left you? What you feel before sleep is not just a mood, it's a portal. Your emotional frequency acts like a key, unlocking doors to specific dimensions in the dream world. Go to bed anxious, and you'll drop into chaos. Go to bed aligned, and you'll rise into clarity. Emotion is not background, it's a steering wheel. This isn't philosophy, it's physics of the soul. Frequencies don't lie. If your last thought is fear, the field mirrors fear. If your last breath carries peace, the field responds with peace. You don't need perfection, just awareness. Presence before sleep reshapes where you'll land after. Pause and feel this. You've had dreams that left you drained, others that woke you glowing. Same bed, same body, different energy. What changed? Your state, your signal, your broadcast. The field doesn't judge. It tunes to what you send. That's why ancient rituals emphasized alignment before rest. They knew the final minutes before sleep decide everything. Not what you wish, but what you vibrate. That final sigh, that inner conversation, that quiet grief, it all programs the journey. The soul doesn't wait for morning. It moves now. Here's the shift. Treat bedtime like a sacred transition. Speak a truth. Release a weight. Whisper your intention. You're not just falling asleep, you're selecting your destination. Focus plus emotion. Creation, even in the dark. You know someone who needs to hear this. Share this message like you're handing them a map home. That place you saw in your dream. The one you've never visited but feels like home. It wasn't invented, it was remembered. Dreams don't fabricate, they reveal. You're not escaping reality at night. You're returning to another layer of it. Memory doesn't only live in the brain, it lives in the soul. Your subconscious holds keys to entire timelines. Versions of you that walked different paths, loved different people, made different choices. When you dream, those versions bleed through. Not to confuse you, but to remind you. You're more than one story. You're a library of lives. This is why some dreams haunt you. Why you wake with tears or joy you can't explain. Your waking mind doesn't understand, but your heart remembers. That stairwell, that voice, that symbol, it's all encoded. Dimensional memory doesn't fade. It waits. Here's the thing. This is not New Age fluff. Ancient mystics, indigenous, shamans, quantum researchers, they all say the same thing. Consciousness isn't linear. Time bends, and memory is multidimensional. The past and future echo through the dream like whispers from eternity. So what do? You start paying attention. You treat your dreams like messages, not noise. You track what repeats. You honor what stirs you. Because what you call just a dream might be your soul screaming to be heard. You are not imagining. You are remembering. If this unlocked something, don't keep it to yourself. Someone else is forgetting what they once knew. Share it. You were taught that sleep is disconnection, a pause, a fade into nothingness. But what if it's the opposite? What if sleep is where the filters drop and the truth begins? You're not shutting down. You're tuning in. The illusion sleeps. You don't. Behind the veil of dreams lies a world more real than this one. That's why colors feel deeper, sounds feel closer, messages hit harder. In sleep, the simulation cracks, and what slips through is unfiltered awareness. The real begins, where logic ends. Here's where most people get it wrong. They think the waking world is the standard, but this is just the densest layer. Sleep peels it back, shows you the scaffolding, the code, the unfinished business. Reality isn't one thing, it's layered. You've seen it, you've felt it. That sense of watching your life from the outside. That dream where everything felt more honest than anything you've lived. That's not an illusion, that's a reveal. Your soul remembers what your ego denies. So the next time you sleep, don't ask to escape. Ask to see. Ask to feel what's hidden behind the noise. Sleep isn't withdrawal, it's access. access to the deeper self, the blueprint, the field. This is the hidden temple, and you enter it nightly. You've crossed this veil before. Tell me in the comments, what's the dream you still can't explain? Every dream is a message, not from the mind, but from the soul. You weren't meant to wake up and forget. You were meant to carry the symbols with you, like sacred scrolls delivered in silence. To remember is to retrieve what was stolen. The E system mocks dreamers, labels them irrational. But what if that's the real threat? A person who remembers their dreams is harder to manipulate. Why? Because they've seen beyond the veil. Forgetfulness is control. Memory is rebellion. When you journal your dreams, you're doing more than writing. You're anchoring, claiming, declaring to the quantum field, I'm ready to receive. And in return, it gives more. Clearer signs, deeper symbols, sharper truths. Your attention unlocks the frequency. Here's what no one tells you. Most people forget not because the dream is weak, but because their mind is loud. Too much noise. Too much rushing. But when you wake slowly, breathe and feel, you remember. Silence is the doorway to spiritual recall. The act of remembering is sacred. It's the beginning of sovereignty. You stop outsourcing your wisdom. You stop doubting your signals. You start recognizing that your dream life is not entertainment. It's communication. You are not being shown. You are being reminded. Like this message if you've ever woken up knowing something your mind couldn't explain, but your soul already knew. What if waking life is just another layer of the dream? The same laws apply. Thought shapes form. Emotion creates motion. Belief builds the walls. But most people walk through this layer unconscious, on autopilot. Lucidity isn't just for dreams. It's for life. When you become lucid while sleeping, you stop reacting and start creating. Now imagine doing that while awake. Same principle. You notice patterns. You question narratives. You remember your power. Suddenly, reality bends around your awareness. Here's the shift most never see. Lucid dreaming teaches you to wake up inside the illusion. But lucid living? That's remembering you're the architect. The world no longer just happens to you. It mirrors you, tests you, reflects you. Life becomes a feedback loop for the soul. You felt it. The moment when a word, a look, a coincidence feels scripted, not by chance but by consciousness. That's lucidity bleeding through. You're starting to notice the seams in the simulation, and once you see them, you can rewrite them. Lucid life isn't about control. It's about presence, about becoming. So aware that every choice carries weight, every thought carries energy. You stop chasing. You start aligning. Your vibration becomes your compass, and the field responds instantly. If you've ever felt like reality was trying to wake you up, don't ignore it. Share this video with someone who's ready to live lucid. Waking up in a dream is powerful, but waking up in both worlds? That's transformation. The double awakening happens when you realize that the same awareness guiding you through your dreams belongs here too. You're not meant to just be awake. You're meant to be aware. This shift doesn't happen overnight. First, you notice the dream is a dream. Then you realize your life has also been scripted by fear, by systems, by survival. But lucidity breaks the loop. You stop reacting. You start rewriting. Here's where it gets deeper. The dream world trains your spirit. Every choice, every symbol, every guide. It's all rehearsal for this moment. So when you wake up here, you're already equipped, already calibrated, already sovereign. That's when things really begin to change. You walk differently, speak with more truth, think with more clarity. You feel your energy shaping space, your thoughts impacting outcomes. This is not imagination, it's activation. The observer creates reality, even in daylight. The double awakening isn't about escaping, it's about anchoring, bringing the sacred into the mundane. Seeing your job, your relationships, your routines through the lens of spirit. That's when magic enters the ordinary. Lucid life becomes a mission, not a performance. Ready for the shift? Like this if you're not just dreaming differently, but living differently. The world will still try to pull you back into numbness, noise, distraction. But now you see the patterns. You feel the difference between reaction and response, between sleeping and surrendering. The veil doesn't close the same way twice. You've touched the truth between the worlds. That sleep isn't rest, it's revelation. That dreams aren't fantasies, they're blueprints. That death isn't the end, it's a continuation. And that remembering isn't a hobby, it's a responsibility. Because now you remember, your sleep is sacred, and your soul is ready to lead. Subscribe and hit like if you know now that your nights are meant to awaken you. Comment, I travel beyond the veil every night. Send this to someone who's been questioning their dreams. It's time they remember. Now that you've seen the hidden side of your sleep, watch the video on synchronicities. They're not coincidences, they're clues.